Hello, my beautiful. I know I say this so often, but these are actually the best brownies that you will ever try. Literally throw out every single brownie recipe you have because this will be the only one you need moving forward. The first thing we're going to be doing is prepping our tin. Take a 7x11-inch pan and grease it with some softened butter. I've been using oil to grease my pans for as long as I can remember, but using butter for the very first time has been such a transformative experience. The butter will impart this beautiful extra flavor to the crust of the brownie, and especially since it browns in the oven, it's going to give off this beautiful caramelized scent. Just trust me on this, butter is the right way to go. Anyway, line the pan with some parchment paper and then set it aside for later. For the batter, begin by adding 1 cup of unsalted butter to a microwave-safe bowl and microwave until hot and melted. I know this is a ton of butter, but the more butter, the more better, you know? Once the butter has totally melted, add in 13 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate. And yes, this amount of chocolate is absolutely necessary. Add 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. I use Dutch processed cocoa because it has such an intense, rich chocolate flavor, but any unsweetened cocoa is perfect. Let this sit for 30 seconds and then stir until the chocolate has been melted completely. Set it aside and then in a large bowl add in 1 cup of white sugar and a cup of packed brown sugar. Then add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I found that a combination of butter and oil makes the perfect brownies. I honestly don't even know why, but they do. Then add in a teaspoon of vanilla extract and 3 eggs. The reason why brownies tend to have so many eggs is because it gives these brownies a really good fudgy texture without making them dense. It also binds the ingredients together, allowing this recipe to work without a leavening agent. Now just beat a ton of air into this mixture. Vigorously incorporate air for at least 2.5 minutes until you get this totally thick whipped mixture. Pour in all of the chocolate ganache into this mixture and then mix once again until everything has been incorporated really nicely. And let's just take a moment to appreciate how beautiful this looks already. And then one of the last ingredients we're going to be using is 1 cup of flour. You don't need to sift it in, I'm just doing it because it makes mixing it a little bit simpler, but it really doesn't matter too much. After that, add in 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt because the contrasting flavors will really set the flavors on top. Gently fold in the flour until just incorporated, but do not mix this too much. And you guys, I cannot make this up, the scent that these brownies give out, oh my gosh. Here's a close-up of the batter because I think it deserves all the love it can get. Pour all of the batter into the prepared baking dish and bake this in a 350-degree oven for around 40 minutes. Check out my previous brownie recipe, which I will be linking, and this is going to show you the best way to know if your brownies are perfectly cooked. It happens so often that you follow the instructions perfectly, but the end result is kind of dry and crumbly, and that mostly has to do with the cook time, so do be careful with that. After the brownies are cooked, allow to cool for 30 minutes, and then heavily season this with some flaky sea salt. Trust me on this, it's so good. Slice it into even pieces and enjoy. Here's a close-up so you can see the beautiful gooey center and that iconic cracked top that every single brownie needs.